Throughout this season, our first season of Fox 55's Green and Gold Gridiron, it's been our pleasure to have Keith Roerdink as an analyst every single week and giving his perspective on the Green Bay Packers. And for Keith, your background covering the Packers goes all the way back to 1992. Why don't you let everyone know about your background starting in 92 with covering the Packers?
Well, yeah, I kind of feel like I've come full circle, Bryon. You know, I started off, I was an intern at WBAY TV in Green Bay working on the set of the Mike Holmgren show. So now instead of making idle chit-chat and getting people donuts and coffee, I get to come out here and actually talk about the team.
And that was in television. You got to work on the Mike Holmgren show. I'd imagine you had some pretty cool experiences with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I remember talking to Ray Rhodes. One story I remember was Sean Patterson, a defensive end that they used to have. Ray Rhodes came in at the beginning of the season. He told me he was going to be one of his centerpieces for the defense. Of course, most people don't remember who he is. He got hurt. So, you know, that never panned out. But great experience and opened up doors for a lot of other things.
We see Bill Ferrario's in here. Now, he, I think, played offensive line. You played a little bit of offensive line, and Bill Schrader was your teammate in high school.
Yeah, so I was the backup center. Bill was the backup quarterback. Of course, you know, I'd like to say I taught Bill everything I knew, but that would be about 10 seconds. So very little offensive line, very little defensive line.
Also had a chance to work for the Green Bay Packers in their media relations department. What were some of the experiences like doing that?
Absolutely. So working for the TV show led to some work with the public relations department, and unbelievable experience. Of course, Lee Rummel, the longtime public relations director, was there. Summer of 1994, Lee made me an offer I couldn't refuse. He said for the whopping price of $200 a month for my internship, they would give me a room out at St. Norbert's with the team, let me eat my meals with them. It was basically as close as you could be to being a player without actually being a player. So for a 23-year-old kid that grew up watching the team, it was unbelievable.
And then you started writing for Packer Report magazine, which is packerreport.com. So really an instant way. You do your game recaps, you go to Lambeau Field for the home games, and then those get posted to the website. But in addition to that, you also have magazine as well. Here's one of the examples of what we have. And, and I was reading through this, and you had a chance, one of the stories that I saw, you talked with Irv Favre going back to September 20th, 1992.
Oh, yeah. Well,
this is focusing on the quarterbacks, and you have some features in here and talking about Brett Favre. But, yeah, to be able to talk to Irv Favre going back to that date, September 20th of 92.
Yeah, and that's one of my all-time great memories is I'm sitting in the studio at WBAY TV, the game 1992, Packers against Bengals. Of course, Mikowski goes out. Favre comes in. I'd got a call before the game. You know, a guy called up, thick Southern drawl. Hey, can I get satellite coordinates? My son's a new quarterback on your team. It's Brett Favre's dad, Irv. So he calls up, gets the satellite coordinates. Not expecting Brett to go in that game, of course. Goes in, you know, the game-winning touchdown to Kittrick Taylor. You know, all the chaos that ensued afterwards. I'm in the studio by myself, just freaking out, going wild after a game like that. I get a call probably 5-10 minutes after the game ended. Irv Favre on the phone calling to thank me for satellite coordinates. So unbelievable. Just that he would think to call back and do that after that game. But, you know, just it's been 20 years of great experiences, from that to working with a team where you're really kind of more of an insider to writing for Packer Report since 1995. So, you know, really can't get better than that for a freelance gig.
And part of that experience covering 3 Super Bowls, to do that with essentially, although big picture, this is the resurgence, the return to prominence for the Green Bay Packers, but to be able to do that with Brett Favre at quarterback and to do it again with Aaron Rodgers there.
Absolutely, yeah. Super Bowl 31, an amazing experience, sitting in the press box at the Superdome. Of course, it's this open-air press box. I had Bob Harlan and Ron Wolf right in front of me, and when Desmond Howard ran that kickoff back for a touchdown, Ron Wolf is jumping up in front, pumping his arms up in the air, yelling, "Go, go!" And I get goosebumps thinking about that. Of course, the next year they're back in San Diego, Super Bowl 32. Nightmare. I can't get the picture of John Mobley tipping away that last Favre pass out of my head. And then Super Bowl 45 in Dallas to kind of really be there for that second generation of Packer quarterbacks. So, I mean, extremely lucky to be able to witness that for sure.
It's been great having you on the show throughout the season, and sometimes we give you a hard time. I wouldn't say sometimes, I guess a lot of times. But one of the things that Bill had actually...
I get that at home, so it's very comforting to come here and get that.
You do have critics when you go home, too. But we notice that you have a lot of notes when you come to the show. But the thing is that we really enjoy from our perspective is that you're very well prepared, and I love the other perspective that you provide on this show.
Well, thanks a lot. It's been great. And, you know, as I told Bill before the show tonight, you know, my notes have gotten less over the course of the year, bigger type, less highlighting. So, You know, again, this TV thing, I tip my hat to you guys, but, you know, the more I do it, I guess the less notes I've needed.